Mary.
Hi.
How are you?
Well,
How are you today? I know yesterday was wrong, but that's a bit wrong.
well, I think that something that happened this morning gave me the strength that I needed to fully talk.
Okay. Before we get started, I want to go over a couple of things, okay? And we have to, constitutional rights, stuff like that, because you're right now incarcerated, you're not free to leave. There's going to be some questioning on an investigation that we're conducting that might elicit, a response, okay? The other thing is, and I want to clarify a couple things regarding an attorney. It's my understanding that you have an attorney?
I have one, not like for this.
Okay.
But I do.
Okay.
Like I have someone that I believe that would be like able and willing to be my attorney, but I haven't been able to speak with him yet. Okay.
But where I'm going with this is you are asking to voluntarily talk to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we're going to go over your constitutional rights again.
Yesterday, I didn't really understand what I was doing, like what I was signing, but and my parents told me not to like say anything else or sign anything, but I don't think that like I feel like what I'm saying needs to be said, and I feel like like I can't wait for an attorney. I need to just say how I feel, and I need to say what I need to say.
Okay.
And it's not easy, but it's what I need to say, and it's
okay. If you are confused about anything, you have to stop us and ask for clarification. We're not mind readers. We want to explain things to you. We're not trying to be deceitful by any means.
No, I understand.
But when you say that you had some confusion about yesterday, when you were provided with these, did you ask the investigators any questions to clarify anything?
No, because I wanted to just...
But you understood what you read, though.
Well, yeah, I didn't pay attention to the bottom part of it, I guess, because when I said that it said waiver of rights to my parents, they kind of got pissed off at me for signing it.
Your parents might not understand though completely of what this says, because we didn't call your parents and read it to them.
No,
you're an adult, but when they probably just heard waiver of rights and didn't understand. They probably didn't understand it and are trying to be whatever with you.
Well, they told me that they didn't want me to talk to anyone without a lawyer, but
but you're an adult.
You're an adult. Yeah. You have to make that decision.
I know
we'll read
what
this
happened.
To you again.
I know, I know my responsibility, and
let's read this to you again.
Let's go through this today, okay? Yeah. Just so you know, right now, this room is being recorded by audio and visual means.
Yes.
Okay. Are you clear on what today's date is?
I believe it's the 12th.
Okay. You are correct. Okay.
Well, I just had to sign a bunch of paperwork to put my son up.
Well, I just want to make sure that you're aware of, you're aware of your surroundings, you understand what we're getting ready to go through, okay? She's going to sign it as a waiver.
Here's your favorite.
Yeah, don't lose that. Okay. Do you need anything to drink?
No, sir.
Okay. You going to need tissues?
I have this.
Okay. We can get you more. So, Mary, I'm gonna assume that you're gonna want to talk about an incident that occurred at 31. What's your address?
3184.
3184 South or East 875 South.
Yes, sir.
That's in Hamlet, LaPorte County, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to indicate that you have something that you want to say, so I'll let you lead the discussion here.
So, the first thing that I want to talk about is yesterday I was asked why I didn't say anything. I believe you were the one that had asked me, okay, so why didn't you say anything? And I said, I don't know, I just didn't. Okay, well, that wasn't true. Because the reason I didn't say anything is because I knew that the second I tried to call somebody, he was going to take the phone. And if I tried to run out the door, because you asked why I didn't go out the door. And the reason is because he wouldn't have let me get out the front door. Because when he was hurting me, I tried to call the police. And he took my phone. And then I tried to get out the front door, and he wouldn't let me out. So I knew what would happen. He also used to tell me that if I did call somebody, and if I managed to get a hold of the police, that he would give them a reason to be there. So I knew that if I said anything to anybody, who knows who would be hurt? Who knows how bad? Who knows what he would do? So honestly, that's why I didn't say anything, because I was afraid that if I called somebody, that either something worse would happen to Judah, or something would happen to me, or one of the other kids. I didn't know what to do. So honestly, that's why I didn't say anything. And every time, there's a couple times where I did manage to get outside. And I started yelling, because I was too scared to call the police myself, so I figured that if I screamed loud enough, that someone else would call the police. And a couple times, it worked. And then he came outside as soon as he saw any lights coming down the road. And he took me inside and put me in the back room, in our room, and closed the door and told me to sit there. And the whole time he had my phone. So I wasn't able to message a friend or anything. And he would check the curtains. And I remember there was one time where the police were in the backyard. He saw the lights flashing in the backyard. And he told me to get down. And he stood up against the wall, because a couple times the light shined in the windows. And I was not allowed to leave the room until all of the lights were gone. And it had to be at least 10 minutes, because he is paranoid that the police would come back. So until he knew for sure that nobody was there, I was not allowed to leave the room, and I was not allowed to have my phone until he knew that I was calm enough or not stupid enough to say anything. And honestly, I don't think that if I wouldn't have seen him this morning, that I wouldn't have had the strength to say something. But seeing him just infuriated my soul. And I didn't think that I would be able to be honest, because every time that I said something about I'm scared of him, people didn't believe me, because I didn't say anything before. Like there was times where he had hurt me before any of the kids were at the house, and I called a friend because I was laying on the floor because I was in pain, and she told me that she was going to call the police, and I said, please don't. Because I knew that if she called and the police came up to the door, he would assume that I called, and I didn't know what was going to happen to me. So I just didn't. Whether it was for me or Judah, I didn't say anything, because I thought he was going to kill somebody.
And you keep referring to E, and I think we can all assume that you're talking about
I just really don't want to say his name.
Okay.
I don't want to see his name. I don't want to see his face. But see, the thing is now, like, regardless of if I'm ever able to leave here, which I really hope to God that I can, so I can change my life and do something. And I'm free now, you know? I know that he can never hurt anyone ever again. So I know that now I'm safe to say what happened, you know? I'm safe to do what I need to do to protect myself and my kids. I know that I didn't do that before, but I'm free now. And he can't hurt me or anyone else anymore. And that's what never said anything, because I always knew that feared that if I said something to anyone while he was around, or even if he was at work, that he would find out. And if he found out, what was going to happen? And I don't know why I thought that for some reason that everyone would be okay if I left the kids at the house with him. I don't know why I thought that. Because he seemed like everything was perfectly fine. He seemed like everything was okay. But it wasn't. At all. And I keep thinking back to, I believe I had shown you the pictures of when I had painted his face.
No, you didn't show me any photos.
So, I believe it was like a couple days before this happened. And he wanted his face painted like the Joker. He wanted Halloween face paint.
Who's he?
Judah. So I painted his face. I put the smile on him. And I put the eyes and the little, like, tear things, whatever, that the Joker has. And he thought it was the coolest thing. I let him wear it around all day. And I can't stop thinking about him smiling and having fun that day. And it was just... Now it's all gone. All of it. Like, there was no... That day, there was nothing on him. There was nothing.
And by nothing, you mean?
No bruises.
Injuries, no bruising,
nothing.
No cuts, no abrasions, lacerations.
Who'd you show those photos to then?
I don't remember. Maybe it was someone at the hospital. Maybe it was the other person. I don't remember his name. I don't know who it was. But I mean, I don't have them on me, obviously, but they're there.
In your phone?
Yes,
or
ma'am. They're on Snapchat.
Oh.
And that's the last time that I can remember him smiling and being happy and being okay. And it was my responsibility to keep it that way. And I failed him. All because I didn't want him to go nuts. And he clearly did. Regardless of whether I called somebody or not. I don't know why I stayed on the phone as long as I did, instead of immediately, as soon as he said that he thought something was wrong, I should have immediately called somebody. But I thought maybe he would be okay. Maybe there was some kind of way that I could get Jesse to go get him and help him or something. And Jesse just, no, you need to call somebody. But even when I did, it was too late.
How far in advance, prior to you communicating with the 911 center, did you communicate with Jesse and...
I was on the phone with Alan for about 45 to 50 minutes.
Do you recall the time period of that?
Not exactly off the top of my head. I know it was probably around midnight, I believe. I don't know. I mean, obviously that would be in my call logs. But I shouldn't have... As soon as he said that he thought something was wrong, I should have called somebody. I shouldn't have even called Jesse. I should have just called 911.
It was during that 45-minute conversation that you're referencing is when Alan indicated that something was wrong.
Yes. Because he had messaged me on Facebook and said, you need to call my phone, not on Facebook. And I was like, okay. So I called the phone and I was like, what's going on? He said, something's wrong. I was like, what the fuck do you mean something's wrong? He was like, I don't know, man. Like, he's cold and I can't get his temperature up. And I was like, is he breathing? And he said, I don't know. And I said, is his heart beating? And he said, I think so. Well, it's super faint. I should have called someone then. I shouldn't have tried to make sure he was doing CPR right. I shouldn't have had him check his temperature. I should have just called somebody. But I panicked. And my panic should have been calling somebody, getting a nurse, going to Morgan then instead of waiting. Because if I wouldn't have waited, maybe he would still be here.
What else was said during that 45-minute conversation?
Just repetitive, just what do we do? What do? I don't know what to do, Alan. What should I do? I need to call somebody. Don't call somebody. Well, what the hell am I supposed to do? What, you need to help him. I don't know what to do. Like, it was just the same bullshit over and over again.
So what happens when that call was terminated?
Well,
what transpired communication-wise next?
I hung up on him. I called Jesse. Jesse said that there's nothing he could do. And
did he offer a reason why there was something that he couldn't do? Because
he had to go to work. He said that there was, I asked him if he could go help Alan because I don't know what the hell's going on and something's wrong. And I explained to Jesse, I don't know what Alan did, but something's wrong. And he was like, I can't, you need to just call somebody. I have to go to work, but you need to call somebody.
Where does Jesse live?
Out, I guess it's listed as LaPorte. Do you have his address?
I don't.
I thought I had.
You didn't give me Jesse's address yesterday. You just gave me yours and.
Well, when I was in the room at the hospital, I had given somebody Jesse's address.
How far? Let's say if you were to drive to his house, how many minutes would it take you to get there?
Probably 35 minutes.
Okay.
It's over by Breeze and Riley.
Okay.
Off of 39, maybe.
Yeah. Breeze and Riley are on 39. They're south of 20. Mm-hmm. It's just north of LaPorte.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be about a 30-minute drive.
Yeah, he lived over there.
Okay.
Or lives over there.
Where is he working?
I think he works for the union or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's some kind of construction thing or whatever.
Okay. So Jesse said he couldn't go. He had to go to work.
And he told me that I needed to call somebody.
Okay.
So I called Alan back to see if anything had changed, if he was okay. And he said, I don't know, dude. So then I hung up on him again, and I called Jesse again while I was walking out of the room to go get the nurse and get Morgan. And then I hung up on Jesse again and called 911.
At what point during this process did Morgan call 911?
Basically, as soon as I got in there and told her I was scared and told her that Alan was insane and that I felt like something seriously wrong had happened. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh my God. And then called 911. And then when she called, I called as well.
During this whole interaction through the various communications on various platforms, you said that there was initial communication through Facebook. Were there any text messages sent? Was there any other platforms that were utilized to communicate with anybody? If so, who?
Just Facebook.
Okay.
The only person that I communicated with on Facebook, well, I didn't talk to anybody else until after everybody started seeing everything on social media, until all the posts were made and it was everywhere. I was in contact with Jesse after I had contacted 911, mm-hmm. But what I remember, because Alan had called me on Facebook, and then that concern wasn't, I don't think he had called on Facebook about that.
So he contacted you prior to the release of all the information that was circulated on social media, looking for his whereabouts?
No, I didn't talk to him. Once I called 911, I didn't speak to him at all.
Okay. So you haven't talked with him?
No, not at all.
Prior to 911?
Besides cussing him out this morning.
On the morning of the 11th?
No.
Okay.
After I called 911, the last time I spoke to him was when I said, listen, I love you, but I'm not going to pick you over my kids. I'm not going to fucking do it. And then he said, fuck you, you stupid bitch. I'm leaving. And that was the last time I talked to him. And then the next thing I heard about him was that I guess Jesse had called the hospital saying that he was hiding at the house and for me not to go there because he was going to kill me. And that's...
How would Jesse know this? Or would Jesse have communicated with Alan?
It's possible. He said that he didn't, afterwards, but the nurse said that he called the hospital and said, don't let her leave. He's hiding in the woods trying to kill her. And I was like, Jesse, he didn't actually say that. And he was like, dude, it's not safe for you to go back. And that was it. I haven't talked to Alan since. Again, besides screaming out the door this morning. But I felt like that's something that I had to do. Because I don't know why. I just felt like he needed to know that he was a monster. And I wanted him to hear it from me. And I guess I almost kind of hoped that someone else would realize who he was and do something to him for what he did. If I said something, maybe that's sick of me. But I wanted him to know how much of a piece of shit he was. I've called him an asshole before. I've called him a monster before because of what he's done to me, and I told him that what he was doing was wrong, but he didn't care. But I felt like yelling, even though the officers that were up there did not appreciate me yelling out of my door, which I fully understand. That's not mature or appropriate, but what other chance would I have gotten to express my disgust and my hatred for him? Because I never thought I would see him again. I never thought I would have to. So when I saw that nasty, disgusting I just needed to let it out. I haven't been able to speak with a counselor, a therapist, a grief counselor, anything at all.
Maybe ask for one upstairs.
Yeah, but they said they put in a mental health referral. I've had like 2 panic attacks. Like, I guess I passed out and hit my head on the damn door, and I wake up because the officer's got something in my face. Like, I don't.
Okay.
Like, I need to talk to somebody. You know, I need to be able to like,
yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And it's like, I don't know.
Unfortunately, sometimes things don't necessarily move at the speed that we want them to, and so we'll make we'll let them know upstairs. Okay, see if we can expedite that process.
Okay.
Okay, I can't make you any promises, but we'll at least make that step to try and expedite that stuff. Okay.
I just want to make sure that he gets what he deserves. And I know there's nothing that Rye can do now to fix it. But after this morning, I want so much more to just to make sure that he never does that to anyone again, or anything close, or even says anything mean to anyone ever again. I don't want him to have that chance.
So through the series of conversations yesterday, Mary, was there anything else that you withheld, or were not maybe fully truthful?
There was a time that Alan told him to lay down, and he didn't lay down. So I had just pushed his head down on the floor, and I said, you need to just lay down, because he's going to go nuts if you don't. So please just put your head down and lay down on the floor so that he just goes the hell back upstairs. I didn't mention that yesterday.
So generally when we think of these rooms, Mary, we think of it as like almost like a confessional. This is where you should be able to come to release everything off of your shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's imperative that when we have a discussion, whether it's me, Detective Heineck, Detective Hannon, or whoever it may be, you speaking with somebody in the jail, to be 100% honest.
Yes, sir.
Because we can't assume things, we can't plug in certain pieces if we don't have that information.
I understand.
We're not here to be deceitful with you or anybody else that we interview in these rooms. But this is, and I'm going to be blunt about this, this is a shitty ass situation all the way around.
It's more than that.
It is more than that.
There's no explanation of how to describe it at all, and there never will be. And it's my job to do whatever I frickin' can to fix what I can, even though the situation is not fixable.
But the steps from here on out require, or should require, honesty. It should require full disclosure.
Yeah. What else do you want to know?
As painful as those steps are, that's what needs to occur.
Like, I don't know if you guys are looking for something else in specific, but as far as I am, I've been thinking. And I've been trying to make sure that I've told you guys everything. And as far as I understand, like, the stuff that I just brought up, those are things that I've been thinking about, and I realized that yesterday I should have said those things, and I didn't yesterday.
So what throws up maybe a flag for us, Mary, is when somebody wants to come back down and say, you know what, I wasn't fully honest, or I didn't really give you the whole story. So that, from an investigator standpoint, makes you think, okay, what wasn't she or he maybe truthful about? What pieces of the puzzle are we missing? Can this person be trusted with what they're saying?
And I understand that.
Hold on. Not one of us has sat down and spoken with you saying, she's full of shit. Not one of us. We think that you're being. Hold on, man. Let me go. I'm doing my best to be courteous and not interrupting you. We think that you're providing us and disclosing information. However, there are certain things that when we sit down and look back and think about it, there may be more pieces that we're missing. And that's where I'm saying do you need to come in here and wash your sentence?
And that's the whole reason why I wanted to come and talk to you guys again, is because I realized that the things that I have just told you are not things that I said yesterday.
Okay. So let's go back to what you just started explaining a minute ago about pushing Judah's head down or forcing it down or when he was laying down. Outline, if you could, when approximately was this? What were the details surrounding this? You indicated it was in the basement of the house.
Yes.
So kind of go into detail about this situation then, if you could.
Well, he had brought him downstairs, and he was, irritated because it was bedtime, and he was trying to get him to lay down, and he was sitting up, and he didn't want to lay down, he didn't say anything, but Alan was telling him to lay down and started getting angry, and so I was like, you need to just lay down. Just lay down. Because if you don't, he's going to get more pissed off, and nobody wants that, so please just lay down. And I lay your head down, and Alan started to go back upstairs, and I started to talk to him, and then he started to come back downstairs, and I was like, you need to just shut the hell up and go back upstairs. Well, then you need to come the fuck on. So I was like, okay, and I went back upstairs.
How long ago was that, do you estimate?
About a week ago, maybe.
Did Judah end up spending the night in the basement that night?
That night, yes, he did.
What did he sleep on?
That blue...
That little fuzzy blanket?
Yes.
Okay.
Folded it up and put it on the floor. Because Alan wouldn't let anything else be down there.
Okay.
That was it.
Did he have clothes on then?
That night, yes.
What did he have?
He had a t-shirt and underwear. It was a red t-shirt. It said Kid Town on it.
Is there power to that section of the house?
There is, yes. I personally don't know how to turn the switches on. I don't know where the switches and stuff are.
Okay. What was the temperature in the basement at the time? Do you recall?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't cold, and it wasn't hot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Basements are generally have a tendency to be cool, but it wasn't at an extreme, though.
No.
That's what you're saying.
I mean, I didn't go down there and start shivering. No.
So he stayed down there all night. And the following morning, did he come upstairs? Did one of you go downstairs to get him?
I mean, I'm sure. I'm trying to think of that specific, because I mean, there's so many situations of where the basement was an issue. Mm-hmm. So I'm it's hard to recall what happened the next morning, but I'm really genuinely trying to think, because I don't want to hold anything back from you guys.
I understand. And I'm not, please don't think that I'm implying that you are.
I mean, it just seems like you guys think that, because I was upset and overwhelmed, and I still am.
Sure.
But I needed to express what I felt. And, you had asked me yesterday why I didn't say anything, and I didn't tell you why. I just told you I didn't know, and I did know because I was scared. Like, I literally wrote a whole letter to Judah, and I haven't finished it because I needed to let it out.
Okay. What are some of the other situations that you can provide in detail regarding the
I mean, there was times when, so Alan there would be times where he would go downstairs and bring him food, and then I would notice that he would come back up with the food, and I would ask him why he didn't give it to him, and he said, well, he didn't answer me. I was like, okay, you can't just not give him food, Alan. You have to give him food. You need to give him something to drink. You need to feed him. And he's like, well, if he's not going to freaking answer me, that's not an excuse. You need to give him food. So then he would go down there. I remember one time he just kind of tossed it on the floor. It's like, there, well, since your stupid fucking mom wants you to eat, then here you go. But you better be fucking grateful for her, because otherwise you wouldn't have shit.
Do you remember if he was bound up at the time, though?
No. No, like, no, he was not. No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
when would it get to the point where he would utilize that tactic, or he would bind him up? Do you know?
It happened once or twice, and I don't really know what set him off. And honestly, the only thing that I could possibly think of is that he didn't smoke, or didn't have any smoke. And I would go downstairs and he'd be like tying him up, and it pissed me off, because it didn't matter if I said something, he wasn't going to stop.
What did you use to tie him up?
Duct tape.
Where would he place it on his body?
On his arms. Like cuffs.
Okay.
In front of his body or behind?
He would have him stand up against a pole and tie his hands back.
Okay. Would the tape wrap around that pole as well?
Once it did.
What about his feet?
He had done that. Like, that was the same time.
And his mouth?
Once, yes. Because he didn't want him going upstairs to steal food.
How long would he keep him like that?
An hour.
If not
2
more.
hours.
A couple days?
No.
What other objects would he use as a form of punishment?
I mean,
if you know.
He used the duct tape. I mean, he would hit him. He would kick him. He would slap his butt really hard with his hand. I mean, most of the time when he kicked him, he had shoes on.
What kind of shoes?
His boots, the same shoes that he always wears. Or not. He had a pair of black and white sneakers that he has been wearing a lot recently. He hasn't really worn boots like that because his work boots were falling apart.
So either boots, were the boots steel toe as well? Because he was
I don't
working?
think he has any more steel toe boots. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
And he would use the black and white shoes. But he would always have shoes on.
Not always.
Okay. Was he always clothed as well? Or was he always
Judah?
naked? Naked, yeah.
Not all the time. I mean, it depended on Alan. Sometimes he would get pissed off. I mean, he didn't allow him to wear clothes for at least few days. At least.
Why?
Because he didn't want him to ruin the clothes. Because he was tired of dealing with pissy clothes.
Interesting.
And I told him to put clothes on him. And there was a couple times where I did. And then Alan just took him off because he peed on him. So he was like, this is why I don't have him wear clothes.
And it was hours and days at a time, correct?
Yes.
Did he ever pee on the blanket that he slept on?
Yes.
Would that be washed afterwards or no? And Alan let him sit in his own pee?
I would try and wash it. It was just really hard to wash such a large blanket, you know. So sometimes I would like bring like a towel or something to fold up and put over it so he didn't have to lay on that. But Alan didn't like that.
Any other objects that you know of?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Whenever I was down there, it was just the duct tape and, you know, the kicking and the hitting. And
when you say hit, punches with his fists. Right?
punches, slapping him.
Did he ever, the other children that were in the house, were they ever disciplined in the same manner?
No, not at all. The most that ever happened was Micah got spanked with a belt. But it was never, I mean, it was like 3 times, and that's it. And that's what it was. Dexter and Liam, as far as Dexter goes, like, if he wouldn't go to sleep, just spank his butt, but he had his pull-up and stuff on. It was never like a whooping his ass, you know.
But Micah and the other children would see and hear what was going on with...
Well, that's the thing. I tried not to let them, because I was stuck running between going downstairs trying to protect Judah and going upstairs, whether it be trying to make sure that Dexter's not at the top of the stairs about to fall down the stairs, or Liam's crying, or I'm trying to deal with every single child, and I didn't know what to do. I always tried to, you know, keep them away, because I didn't want them to have to see or hear that. But at the same time, I felt obligated to try and make sure that Judah was okay. But then every time something happened upstairs, I needed to run upstairs to make sure the other kids were okay, and then go back downstairs.
You might have covered this yesterday in the second interview, Mary. Did you discipline Judah?
I mean, I had spanked his butt before, yes, with my hand, yes. Or, like I had explained yesterday, like when I had, okay, quit. But I never did anything that, like what he did. Never even close. I couldn't ever bring myself to be like that. Ever.
Is there anything else that you wanted to tell us? Or had thought of?
Not that I can think of. Like I said, I don't want to hold anything. That's not my goal. I want to be able to say what needs to be said and to do what needs to be done.
Okay. I understand.
How are the conversations at the hospital, like when you were calling family members and stuff yesterday? Because I know you talked to your mom and your dad and Jesse and a couple cousins. How did those go yesterday?
I mean, I told my parents what happened, and they kind of freaked out.
I'm sorry, I know you told me yesterday, but what was your mom and dad's name again? I don't want to...
Catherine and Eric.
Catherine and Eric. And their last name's Yoder,
yes.
Correct? Yeah. Sorry. But, okay.
Anybody else besides your parents and Jesse and Morgan?
I mean, there was a lot of people that tried to contact me, but I didn't respond to most of them because I didn't really want to talk about it.
Sure.
And everybody was blowing up my phone trying to be in my business.
I'm assuming that's through text messaging.
Through Facebook.
Always, Facebook solely? Okay.
Does your phone not text in and out?
I mean, it does, but I don't use text like that.
Oh, okay.
I contact basically everybody on Facebook.
Okay.
But there was like over 20 people that had contacted me, and it's funny because none of those people care until now. Which I thought was really funny. Because everybody acts like they care. And you know, a lot of people knew how Alan was to me.
How did they know?
Well, not in full detail. You know, I would tell them that he was an asshole. Or he's just stressing me out. I can't take it anymore. He's calling me lazy, saying I don't do shit all day. And the whole time I was pregnant. Just telling me that I wasn't shit and I was lazy. And everybody was like, you just need to leave. You need to just leave him. I was like, how? Where am I going to go? I don't have anybody. Where am I going to take all of the kids? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Please tell me. Because ain't nobody going to pay for me to be anywhere. I don't have a job. I didn't have anything.
When was the last time that you worked?
At the beginning of my pregnancy, I worked at Popeyes for a little bit. But I couldn't handle it because they were having me lift heavy boxes and the grease was just making me nauseous.
Sure.
So I quit.
The one in Michigan City?
No, in LaPorte.
LaPorte? Oh, okay.
Because my friend was the manager there, so.
I forget about that.
Yeah, I forget about that Popeyes.
It's not like he wanted me to work anyway. But when I did work, he would just take all my money and spend it. So whenever I got money, he would just take it all and spend it.
What would you spend it on?
Weed.
How was the dynamic between you guys when the children weren't in the picture?
Weren't?
Yeah.
Oh. I was Judah. All the time. Like I said, there'd be people that I would call bawling my eyes out, hyperventilating because of what had just happened. I'm gonna call the police. No, don't.
Who are those people that you called?
Someone named Maya that I haven't talked to in forever, and ironically now she messaged me the other day because she had heard what happened. I'm sorry, I'm really cold right now.
It's cold down here. That's why I got my jacket on.
And I had called her one time, and I was like, I can't breathe. I'm on the floor. And she was like, I need to call the police. I was like, Maya, don't. Please don't fucking do it. Please don't. Because it'll just get worse, so please don't. And me and Maya were really close for a while. But then I think that he kind of triggered me to not talk to him. Pretty much anyone that I don't talk to is because of him. Because he didn't want me to talk to them. Most of the people on my block list on Facebook are because he blocked them or made me block them. I wasn't allowed to have any male friends if I talked to a guy at all, even if I had known them for a long time. I was automatically screwing them. And I tried to explain to him, nobody wants me, and I don't trust. And this is especially true now, because I always said, because of you, I will never trust. No offense, please, but I will never trust another man, ever.
I don't take any offense. I understand your reasoning.
And he was like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, you really don't understand what you put me through, do you? I'm not doing shit to you. You're just a whiny, emotional bitch. But why, though? Why am I like that? Because of you. Because of the fact that you've literally controlled every fucking aspect of my life for the last 6 years. Where I go, where I work, where my money's spent, everything. What I wear. If I put my makeup on, he automatically assumed that I was talking to somebody and Snapchatting somebody.
Did you have a lot of friends on Snapchat that he didn't know about?
No.
Anyone?
Well, I left my phone. I left my phone unlocked because if it was locked, he would. I mean, he knows my code and stuff. But if I left my phone locked, what are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. Well, you're obviously hiding something because if I can't get in your phone. And so I haven't locked my phone from him in a long time because I'm not going to sit there and get accused of crap. Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't know my Facebook password, but my stuff's always logged in on my phone, so he had access to all of my stuff because I didn't want to get accused of anything. And I also knew that nobody wants somebody that has all these kids. And someone that has been controlled by someone like him for years. I wasn't allowed to have friends over.
Did you have any, like, neighbor friends? None?
I mean, I had said hi to one of the neighbors in passing once because she was walking her dog, but that's...
Any neighbors or friends that would even offer to watch any of the children?
I didn't talk to them. Like, I said hi to the neighbor that was walking her Great Dane once, and that's it. We didn't talk to them.
You didn't have any relief on anybody coming to watch your kids or them going there to watch your kids?
Nope.
It was always you that had to watch your children, huh?
Even when he was home. It was always just me. And I was fine with it, because I didn't really feel like just sitting in the room with him all day, because that's what he wanted. He wanted me to just sit there all day.
Playing video games?
Yeah, I didn't play video games, though. But
he wanted.
He, all the time. It was Call of Duty. It was this game called Rush Royale.
And there's nowhere you can escape to all, or your children at all, while he was playing his video games. So you could go and at least have coffee with a friend. Nobody.
No. But, you know, that spending time with my kids wasn't a bother for me. Mm-hmm. You know, my kids were, like, yeah, it was stressful sometimes, but, you know, I didn't mind just sitting on the couch and hanging out with the kids, or, you know, letting Micah help me cook dinner, or, you know, whatever it might be. Like, that wasn't, I would much prefer to sit with my kids than sit with him. Mm-hmm. When all he would do is ignore me anyway. So what the hell was the point of me sitting with you? I didn't exist to you. I was just there for, right. I don't even know. And see, I used to tell him, like, you're just using me for, and then he'd say, for what? Because you don't work, you don't give me anything, so I was basically just completely useless. I was just useful for making kids and watching kids. And that was it. I was just there. I didn't mean shit to him. I don't know why I ever thought I did. And I really wonder if anyone in his life ever actually meant anything to him. Because I really don't think so. Because he could say he loved somebody all he wanted, but I don't think he's capable of loving anyone. I really don't. Because every time, which was rare, whenever he said I love you, I was like, okay, you're lying, but whatever. Felt nice to hear that I knew he didn't mean it. The whole time I was pregnant, he never held me. Every time. He would never hold me. Never would hug me.
You wouldn't do that with any other kids either, would he?
Not really. I mean, with Dexter and Liam, yeah, but Micah's also 7, so he didn't, like, pick him up and hold him or whatever. But even when him and Judah were, like, close, like, the older kids, they didn't really get, like, loved on, per se. Not by him. I mean, I have kind of a hard time, like, being affectionate towards the older kids because I don't want to make them, like, uncomfortable. Like, I'll give them a hug and stuff. Like, Michael will walk up to me and give me a hug. But I don't, like, I was never good at, like sitting down and playing race cars with them, you know? I don't know if it's because it's all boy toys but even when I was little, like, I never really, I don't know. Maybe it's because my parents didn't, you know, really interact with me, so I didn't really know how to, like, use my imagination, I guess. But I tried really hard. Because my kids were everything to me, and they still are. They were the only peace that I had. Because every time I saw them smile, it's like it took away a little bit of what Alan was. So, like, if Alan said one mean thing to me, I'd be like, all right, and I would go out in the living room and just hold them and play with them. And I mean, sometimes I would just sit on my phone and play around, scroll around or whatever, but as soon as, like, Liam started smiling or Dexter climbed up on the couch or Mike or Judah were trying to tell me, like, a cool fact or something, you know. But Alan didn't like it when I was affectionate to them because I was coddling them or I was babying them or I was spoiling them. So it was hard to, like, when he was around, it was hard to show them, you know, what I wanted to because he thought that everything I was doing was babying them. Maybe that's how his parents raised him. I don't know.
Anything else?
No.
We're listening. We're willing to listen, Mary. Whenever you want to talk. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, there's just really nothing else to say.
I'm just saying from this point forward. If you feel that you want to talk to one of us, you can. Okay? And that's your decision. Your attorney will probably advise you against it, but
ultimately it's your decision.
But it's not like I'm not lying, I'm not hiding anything, I don't care, you know. Like, I haven't said anything that's not factual, you know. And I want you know, like we've been talking about, I want justice for my son. And the only way that even the slightest of that's going to happen is if I say what needs to be said. Because there's no reason to be afraid anymore.
Thank you for being honest with us. For talking with us.
There's no reason not to be. I'm safe from him now. I don't have to be afraid of him. He can't do anything to me for saying anything anymore. Because it doesn't matter if I continue to just, nothing that I've said is false. And he would have hated me for that. And I don't care. Because he literally can't do anything to me about it.
He would have told you not to talk to us, right?
Oh no, he would have done more than tell me not to talk to you. He wouldn't have allowed me to. He would have threatened me for it. And again, that is the whole reason why I was ever scared to say anything about anything, whether it be me or Judah. But he literally can't touch me or anyone else anymore. He can't threaten anyone else. I mean, he can, but what's that going to do? He can't hurt me or anyone else ever again. Maybe, hopefully not. I don't ever want to have to see or hear from him again. Unless I absolutely have to because the law says so. Like if I have to testify in court, so be it. But other than that, I don't want to have to ever see or talk to him again. Because I know that I'm safe now. And my kids, even though, I mean, Judah's safe now too, you know? Not the way he should be. But everyone is safe from him now. And I don't know why I thought the kids would be okay. I mean, obviously the other three were fine. But I don't know. I guess I should have thought something like it was too good to be true. You know, because the night he was born at 12:40 something, and like the night before, even though it was, anyway, you know what I'm saying, like all the kids were in bed asleep by 8:15, and I was like, how the hell did you do that? He's like, I got it, trust me. It's like it was too good to be true, but I kind of didn't think anything of it, you know.
You're talking about the 9th Saturday when you went to the hospital?
Yes.
Cohen was born
at like
10th.
At like 12:40 something in the morning.
12:40 in the morning. So a couple hours later. And all the kids were in bed Saturday night.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. You know, like I didn't...
Did Alan tell you what?
He had said Judah was upstairs. But of course I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know.
But in the morning, by morning,
Did you ever look on the cameras to verify any of that?
I mean, that's why I had, said something to him, because I had seen that the kids were all in bed asleep. So I was like, nice, good job, dude. How'd you do that? Little did I know.
And by morning, did something change? Or what happened?
Evidently by the morning, Judah was downstairs in the basement because he had video called me. And it was Dexter's birthday, and Jesse had came over with a birthday cake and a couple presents for him. And I guess Jesse was under the impression that Judah was at a friend's house. And that's why he wasn't there. From what I understand, that's what Alan had told him. I don't know.
And then he was in the basement all day till morning when he called you that something was wrong.
That's what it seems like to me, yeah.
He didn't talk to you about it at all?
All we were really talking about was labor and Cohen and his cleft lip, and
yeah,
because that was it. It wasn't scary to me, but it was different, and I was afraid that maybe they would change their mind because he was different,
Mm.
But
Alan never mentioned anything about
not until later.
Basement?
Not until later in the afternoon, because he had said that he had brought him down there and that he had brought him a sandwich. And then the next thing he said about Judah was that he had went down there and he didn't know what was going on.
And how many hours had passed between the sandwich and...
I couldn't say for sure. That, I would have to look and see. I don't.
Do you think a full evening into afternoon time, or afternoon into evening?
Maybe a couple of hours. I don't know. I can't remember. It might have been even just an hour. I don't know.
So last you knew, or at least heard that Judah was upstairs, was when you saw them on camera in their bedroom sleeping, and you asked Alan.
Well, I didn't specifically ask if Judah was upstairs.
You just saw kids. You didn't see Judah upstairs.
Well, if he was upstairs, he would have been... No. Okay, no, he was upstairs. Because I remember Alan had said that the reason why he brought him back downstairs was because he threw up in his room.
Okay.
So he was upstairs at that time.
Sleeping in bed.
Yes.
Okay.
And then by the morning, I guess he had thrown up, and Alan had brought him downstairs. So yes.
And that was Sunday morning. So he had thrown up sometime overnight. So going back.
Was the 10th Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, because that's Judah's birthday. Dexter's birthday. Sorry. Jesus.
So Saturday you went to the hospital, which was the 9th.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He put the kids to bed by 8:15
Saturday
night, and you saw on camera that the kids were sleeping.
Yes. And he said that Judah was upstairs.
But you never specifically saw Judah in the bedroom?
Because that room doesn't, it has a camera in it, but it's just a baby monitor camera.
Okay.
So
by Sunday,
he could, he very well could have been lying. I don't know.
But by Sunday morning, he had said he took Judah downstairs because he had thrown up. And then he basically left him there all the way through Sunday night, and took him a sandwich one time, and then called you Monday early morning that things were going wrong.
Yes.
With Judah. Correct.
He didn't really bring up Judah the rest of the day until,
So the last time you saw Judah with your eyes, whether it was physical or on camera or anything like that, was Saturday before you went to the hospital?
Not before, because, I have to, when was it? Because I remember I was sitting with Morgan, and I had shown her the cameras, and, because I was all the kids are sitting around, and Micah was sitting right in front of Judah, because Judah was sitting on the couch, and Micah was sitting right in front of him, and they were all watching TV.
Well, it couldn't have been Sunday because he was down in the basement for Dexter's birthday.
It could. Well, if it was later in the afternoon and Alan was cooking dinner, it could have been. But I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday that I actually saw him on the cameras. Actually, I'm trying to think.
But Saturday,
I don't know if Cohen was born yet or not.
Okay. So it could have easily been Saturday night before Cohen was born.
It very easily could have been.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that would have maybe made more sense that he was upstairs before he went to bed and then threw up. Would that?
That does make more sense. Yeah.
Would you agree that that's how it went, or is that wrong? If I'm wrong,
I don't think you're wrong at all.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
I'm trying to understand. Yeah, too. Yeah.
Because it would. Knowing Alan, it would make more sense that if he had been upstairs and he went to sleep upstairs, then that's when he would have been on the camera. So,
but I want your truth to it. I want to make sure that I'm getting this correct.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not saying something that's not factual.
Got it. Yeah, I understand.
That does make more sense that he would have been sitting on the couch Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. And then Saturday before you left for the hospital, Judah was in the basement?
He was upstairs, and then there was, because I know that he had brought him down there for something.
Prior to you leaving?
Yeah, but I believe he had been upstairs before I left. I believe he brought him upstairs because he was going to get everyone ready for dinner and whatnot. So I believe that he had brought him upstairs, right before I left. But I couldn't say for sure.
Okay.
There were some sandals at the top of the stairs. I think they were green. Are those yours?
Sandals?
Yeah.
Like flip-flops?
Flip-flops.
Oh, the blue and red ones? Yeah, those have been there for months.
Those are yours?
Yeah.
Those are yours?
Those have been there for months, yeah.
Would you wear those down into the basement, or is it something you wore around the house, or they just happened to be there?
They were there. I literally have not worn those in months. I knew they were there, but I'm pretty sure that the top part was broken on them, so I kind of just left them there.
Did you go down in the basement barefooted then?
No.
What would you wear?
My black, I have black slides.
Oh, okay. Like house shoes?
And those, well, kind of, but those were the easiest thing for me to put on because I was pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And it was quick to put them on, so if I heard something going on, I could slide the shoes on and run downstairs really quick.
Okay.
But yeah, I know what shoes you're talking about, but I haven't worn those in months. I'm pretty sure the top part of the flip-flop part's broken. So I just quit wearing those.
Sure. When was the last time you recall asking for the nurse to some type of counselor when you were here? Was that last night?
No,
Was it earlier today?
I've been kind of bothering them about it all day, and they seem like they're getting kind of pissed off at me about it.
Okay.
But I think that it's fair for me to ask for
Absolutely.
counseling. I literally had 2 different panic attacks this morning.
Okay. Well, we can go see if we can, like I said earlier, see if we can do something to expedite this for you, okay?
Okay.
Is there anything else that you want to relay to us?
No, sir.
Okay.
I feel like I have told you guys everything that you should or need to know.
Okay.
Because I can't think of anything else that would help or, that's important.
Sure.
And if I did, I would tell you.
And if you do, when you're upstairs, you can always contact us.
Okay.
We're willing to listen at any point in time.
Yeah. Thank you for talking with us.
I mean, I know that probably the stuff that happened with me and Alan doesn't matter.
What do you mean by that?
Because this isn't, about how Alan treated me. But at the same time, it's like, if it weren't for the way he treated me, I wouldn't have been scared to call somebody or, like you said, go out the door. Because there was a couple people that knew how he was to me. There was a couple people that I admitted that he had hurt me before. I mean, right before Liam was born, he was pissed off at me about something, and he lifted me up over his back. Like, he turned around, and, like, if I don't know how to explain this because there's nobody else standing up. Would you mind standing up for this?
No, I'm not going to, okay. But it's okay.
I'm not going to, touch you.
Just try to explain it to us.
So say, I don't know how to explain this. Like, say he was standing right here.
Okay.
He had turned around. Maybe it's better if I pretend to be him. Okay, so he had turned around, and he had picked me up, like, took my arms, and pulled my arms up, and went like this. Now, mind you, I was pregnant, and my back was against his back. And he pulled me up, and went like that. Mind you, this was probably, like, a week or two before Liam was born. So I'm sure that didn't help. But, like, I was talking to my parents, and this is stuff that I've never even told my parents or my grandma. There's times where I had tried to hurt myself. And I would try and lock myself in the bathroom. And instead of, because, when someone's, trying to self-harm or they're suicidal, you'd think that, you would try and talk to them and comfort them and help them. But all he did was push my face onto the toilet and try and make me throw up or choke me or whatever it was. Because I remember one time I took like 6 ibuprofen 800s because he was just being really mean and I wanted to die.
You said how many?
6 of them. I didn't know what it would take. It's ibuprofen, so I was like, whatever, I'm just, I don't know. But I was, at that point, I just wanted to not be there anymore. Or I would try and cut because I used to have a really, really bad problem with it. And I stopped for a while. It's been a couple months since I tried to. I didn't tell anybody about that either. Because he would come in there and he would just yell at me and try and choke me out for even trying to hurt myself. Or call me so many names, and I just, it's like I was literally trying to die, and you're sitting there just tearing into me instead of like you are the whole reason why I feel like this. And I had nobody to talk to. Because there was just him, and if I tried to tell anybody, there was a couple times where I called somebody and I was trying to talk about how I felt, and he would just yell over me so that they maybe couldn't hear whatever I was saying. Quit fucking lying to them. Quit acting like you're perfect. You ain't shit. Blah, 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 blah. And everybody that, that I did call, they were like, dude, he's fucking crazy. You need to leave him. And I would tell them, I can't. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Girl, you got to have options. There's got to be somewhere you can go. No.
I couldn't imagine how you and Judah had felt.
But that's the thing that makes me so mad too, is how could I have not protected him more when Alan had been mean to me too? Mm-hmm. So it's like me and Judah were just like his triggers or something. You know, like he didn't act like that to anyone else. Just me and Judah. Like, I literally specifically remember times where he was choking me out and I started to black out. Like, he had sat on me before and choked me out. You know, there was a time where I had taken a knife from the kitchen to try and hurt myself. And I was pregnant. I don't know if it was this time or last time. But he kind of like, okay, I kind of have, is it okay if I kind of like do again what I was?
Sure.
So like, he would, I'm gonna just act like I'm me. He would kind of like choke me out. Like, he would have me in a chokehold, but he'd have my legs out like this, and he would be choking me out, and he'd be kind of like pushing me down while he was choking me out. And I was pregnant at the same time, but I couldn't say anything because I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't try and stop him because he's strong. And I tried to like push my way out of it, but when I tried to push my way out of it, he pushed down harder. So there was no, when he had me in a chokehold or something like that, there was no getting out of it. It didn't matter how much you tried, there was no getting out of it. Because he was going to put his full weight on you, and that was it. That was it. So either you just let him do it, and like, there was times that I pretended to pass out so that he would let me go. Because I didn't know what else to do, because I thought that maybe if I pretended that I wasn't conscious, that maybe he would let me go. And maybe I'm not good at faking it, because he started to like maybe catch on that I was faking it, but it still stopped him in his tracks when I did that. So I don't know. But that's the truth. I didn't tell my therapist. I didn't tell any of my friends. You know, I mean, I had like slightly told people that he had hurt me before, but not like in detail. And it carried on every day of my life. And every time he would get mad, and I even thought about calling someone or going to get help, it's kind of like that all just faded, because I knew what he would say or do if I tried. So I kind of just stopped trying, because I didn't even want to risk it, you know? Like, I'm trying to be as fully open and honest with you guys as possible.
I think you have been.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Now, the only time that I do remember that I did call the police on him, nothing ever came of it. And I think that's part of the reason why I didn't say anything either, was because the first time that he ever put his hands on me was when I was pregnant with Judah. And we were staying at a friend's house in a friend's apartment. It was in LaPorte. It was like by that bank. It's either now or it used to be Wells Fargo.
I know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was like right by there. And Micah was asleep. And I had offered to make him something to eat. And he didn't want that. And I was like, okay, well, you ain't got to be a bitch about it. And I didn't even say the whole word. Because bitch is his trigger word. You call him a bitch and he's going to go nuts. And I said, bit. And he slapped me. And then I slapped the shit out of me. I was sitting up and he slapped me to the point where I fell on the bed. And then he got on top of me and started choking me out. And I don't know why I didn't leave then. And I said I was going to call the police. And he got up and took off. And I don't know if I called that night or the night before, or that night or the morning, you know what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. But I did call somebody because the police showed up in the morning, so I'm assuming that I had called in the morning and not that night. But they asked where he was. I said I didn't know because I didn't. I saw him take off down the street because it was an upstairs apartment. And I had seen him take off down the street, and I told them what was going on. And they were like, well, we don't see any marks on you, so I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, well, he just choked me out, and I'm pregnant, and he, just hit me. They're like, well, there's no marks, so I don't know what to tell you.
I'm sorry that happened.
I pissed him off. I shouldn't have pissed him off.
I'm impressed, though, with you. You have a really good memory for a lot of this stuff. A really good memory.
I have a memory for negative things, not good things.
But you would agree you have a good memory. I mean, you replay this stuff over and over in your head, right?
Because there's been so many bad things that have happened that there's just...
Can't forget them.
I mean, maybe it started because my dad used to be like that when I was little. I don't know.
This Eric, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's not like that now. The last time he ever hurt me was when I was 14, I think I was. Maybe I was younger than that. And he had backed me into the corner. There's our fridge and the wall. And he had backed me into the corner and started yelling at me. And I was sick of it. So even though I was standing, I kind of pulled my leg back as far as I could, and I kicked him in his nuts. And he never touched me again. He never sexually assaulted me, if that's what you're wondering. He never touched me, But he wasn't the best dad. And, the difference is my dad got help because he realized that he was doing the wrong thing and that he wasn't being the dad that he should have been. And, I won't forget that stuff. But at the same time, he went and got help. And he wanted to change. And he realized that he was making mistakes. And now, I can talk to my dad. Excuse me, I still haven't really slept much.
Okay. You don't have to apologize for that.
I don't know if I don't know what it is.
Like, I've kind of just let people do whatever to me my whole life. So I don't really know how to stand up for me or anyone else, or defend myself or anyone else. Because every time that I have tried to speak up and anything, everybody's like, you're crazy, calm down, stop being so dramatic. So when you're told that you trying to get help is dramatic every time that you ask for help or try and tell someone what's going on, you kind of just stop asking for help.
Mary, I'm going to have to apologize to you, but I'm going to have to step out because I have an appointment I got to also take care of. Are you going to be okay just talking with
Yeah, that's fine.
as well? Okay. All right. It was good talking to you, though. Okay.
You
I
want to go up
appreciate
and
you.
see if we can get hold of a nurse and
That would be really nice if that's possible.
I said that we'd make an attempt to get that process expedited. I told you from the beginning that I'm not going to promise anything because I can't, but we can go through it. And
Is there any way that we could maybe see if they would put me in a room with somebody that's maybe like closer to my age that's not withdrawing from heroin and like screaming on the phone
I
all the time?
can ask them, but
If not, it's okay.
I can ask them, but ultimately placement is at their discretion.
Okay. Do you guys have any idea when you would know what's going on yet?
I would hope by this afternoon, but again, I'm not in charge of this thing, so I don't know. It should be relatively soon.
I just want you to understand that I truly, I'm really trying to do whatever I can to be as fully honest and open with you guys as possible. You know, I don't want to hold back anything at all. So if something does come to mind, I would say something.
Okay.
You know, because I don't know.
None of us have sat here and said that you're lying. None of us have sat here and contradicted anything that you've said, right?
No. It's just I feel like that's because of my past too. Is I always feel like everyone wants more from me, and I'm trying to do what I need to do to help and be honest, but it's everyone my whole life has always told me, you're not doing enough, you're not saying enough, you're not.
You can only say so much though, right? There's only so much to say, right?
But it's everybody always wants more. There's only so much that I can say, that I can do, that I can give, you know?
Okay. And you know what? Maybe in the next couple days or week or whatever, you may have more, because more things may come into your memory. I don't know. Sometimes conversations, when we ask, when we start talking about things and we ask if there's more, sometimes that triggers another thought. Sometimes the way that the direction of the discussion goes may trigger other things. But nobody's sat in this room with you and said that, you're being dishonest.
I just want to do what's right. That's it.
I understand.
That's all I want, is to do what's right. Because if I would have done what's right before and just made one phone call, regardless of how freaking scared I was, that should not have mattered. Because I could have, slightly defended myself. He might have tried to hurt me, but I could have slightly defended myself, I guess. I know how strong he was, but what would have been the better option? And it's not like he could have hurt me while I was at the hospital, so I don't know why. Now that's really pissing me off, because I don't know why I let that phone call go for 50 minutes. I should have just, I shouldn't have asked questions. I shouldn't have been do this, try and
check his temperature and try and do this, try and, whatever. If I would have just, as soon as he said, I think something's wrong, I should have, instead of hung up and called Jesse, I should have hung up and called the police. And maybe if I would have done that, he would still be here. And I will never forgive myself for that. Because now that I just thought about that, it's really pissing me the fuck off. Because, I'm sitting here talking now about how I'm safe now, that he's not able to hurt anyone else. Okay, but he couldn't have hurt me while I was at the hospital when he called me. So what? I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I mean, I know I panicked. I know I didn't know what to do. I was scared because when he said something was wrong, I automatically got terrified. But that fear should have been what, I don't know why I called Jesse instead of called him first. Or called 911. I mean, I'm sorry. I got it. Now that's really...
You've heard the cliche, hindsight's 20/20.
No, I actually haven't. Maybe I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
We can look back at things, and when we second guess ourselves, and we could have done it a different way.
But no matter how much you think about what you could have done different, it's not going to change what happened.
Correct.
And Mr. Cicero, I believe in God. As much as my faith is kind of right now, because he told me that God has him now. And he's safe now. And he's okay now. And God's got him sitting right next to him. And my grandma said, he's with Grandpa now. Grandpa might not have been able to meet him, but he sees him now.
I believe that.
Because I did pray. And, it's funny, is I prayed for 5 minutes while I was on the phone with Alan, and I was trying to speak loudly because I feel like when you speak your prayers, or when you speak anything, your tongue is a very powerful thing when it comes to, speaking things into existence. Okay, I believe that. And I started praying. And he said, "What are you doing? You need to shut up." I was like, "I'm praying. You're not going to tell me to stop praying," because I was praying that everything was okay, that everything would be okay. And he told me to stop. He told me to stop praying probably because he didn't want anyone to hear me praying. That's probably what that was. Why am I not allowed to pray? And I think that's part of what triggered me to be like, okay, I need to fucking go get somebody. Because I'm sitting there praying to God, asking him to make sure everything's okay, pleading the blood of Jesus over my son because I didn't know what was going on. And when he told me to stop praying, something in my head was like, all right, done, go now, do something now. And I did, but it wasn't soon enough. And you know, they say everything happens for a reason, and God has a plan.
That I do believe.
But what's the reason for this?
You know, there are some things that we're presented with that we may not understand at the time.
Like, you know, I see now that I need help for my depression and my anxiety and stuff. I see now that I need to do something different with my life. But it shouldn't have taken this. Because I genuinely want help now. I genuinely want to do something different. I want to change my life. I want to be a positive person, you know. If I can ever get out of here, and, you know, because I want to get out, and I want to be a real mother. I want to fully support every single second of my children's lives and make sure that there is not one second that I'm even slightly absent. Never would I ever again. I honestly, like, if I can ever get out of here, I don't ever want to be with anyone ever again, because my focus needs to be my kids for the rest of my life. My focus needs to be my kids. I need to stop begging for people to love me, because that's not what matters. Yes, it's hard being and feeling alone all the time, but I felt alone for the last 6 years, and I was in a relationship. You know, I'm 26 years old. I shouldn't be focusing on, you know, if it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But if it's not, then I need to stop trying to build a family if that's not what's in the cards for me. Like, I have my kids, and, you know, there are single moms that can make it. It's not easy, but there are plenty of single moms out there that have done it. I just felt like I would never be able to do that, because I felt like I wasn't strong enough or smart enough or capable enough. And I know this has, like, nothing to do with anything. It's the truth. I spent so much time trying to be perfect and not piss him off. And I mean, I lost my whole family because of it, you know, because of him. My family didn't want to talk to me. They hated me, or it seemed like it. I lost so many friends, all because of him. And if I would have just listened to everybody and accepted help, because I didn't want to go to a shelter. You know, I really didn't. But if I would have just left and went to a shelter, then maybe things would be okay right now. I don't know what else I can do or say to make things any better, because I'm really trying to just be fully 100% honest. And it's, you know, like, I have never talked in detail about what he had done to me before, ever. This is literally the first time I've ever told anyone. It's not like it matters now. Like, I have a picture on my phone of when he made me wear lingerie, and I didn't want to, and it was right after he beat the shit out of me. So it's a picture of me wearing this outfit that he wanted me to wear. And you can see on my legs the bruises going all the way down my thighs on both of my legs. Because he wanted me to wear lingerie and he wanted me to take that picture. Little did he know that you could see the bruises in that picture, and I didn't realize it until I saw that picture again. And then he saw it on my phone. He's like, what the fuck is that? Who are you sending that to? And it's like, for your information, that's some of the very little proof that I have that you beat my ass. So, it might be a picture of me bending over and my ass being the main thing in the picture. But that's one of the very few pictures that I have as proof. Because if I would have just taken a picture of my leg or my other leg, he would have seen it and deleted it. So that was really the only way that I could play it off like that's not what I was taking a picture of, you know? Like my old phone, I was trying to get into it one day because it had pictures of that specific thing. Because the picture that I had taken, it was on my laptop, and I had taken a picture of it on my phone. So the old phone that I had, it had pictures of both my legs and my arm, because my arm had a big bruise right here, and my neck. And he factory reset the phone so I couldn't get into it. Couldn't back the pictures up to Google so I could get them. Factory reset it. Everything was gone. So I had no proof of what he did. I mean, I never showed it to anybody, so it didn't really matter, I guess. And I don't even know why I took the pictures. Because if I wasn't going to ask for help, then why? What's the point, you know? And it's not like taking the pictures was going to change what he was doing. I don't know why I did that, honestly. Because it wasn't proving it to myself. So I really don't know what it was. I'm sorry, I know that none of this has anything to do with anything important. I just...
It's important to you on some level to tell me.
Because I've never said anything about it before. To anybody. And now I can say something without having to be scared that he'll do something to me for saying something. I mean, it's not like he's going to be held accountable for what the fuck he did to me. But I needed to...
You good?
Because now I can say something without having to be scared. God, now it's fucking happening again.
You want to go see the nurse?
Sure, yeah. I have to call my parents because I have to talk to them about the arrangements for Judah.
Okay. Okay, can you give me a minute?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I need to go get a mask anyway, because in order to get back upstairs, I gotta have one. So,
Okay.
Remember, like I said earlier, we listen. So if there's things that you want to talk about in the future from here on out, you can reach out to us, okay?
So, hypothetically, if I was ever to be able to get out of here and I needed to talk to you guys, I could just say, hey, can I come up to the office and meet with you guys?
Yeah, why not?
Even if it's not about this?
we wear a variety of hats. Sometimes listening to people, that's what we do. Even when we go to calls. Let me go grab a mask and we'll get you upstairs to a phone, okay? So you can make a call and we'll touch base with the nurse, okay?
Do you know when somebody will be able to tell me what's going on?
I don't.
You said maybe this afternoon?
Maybe this afternoon. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. It's with our prosecutor's office, and they work at,
How was he able to get to court already?
He hasn't been to court.
Then how was he walking with everybody else to court?
I understand you saw him in the booking area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you know that he was going to court?
Well, because everybody else was going to and coming from court at that time.
Okay, but how do you know it was just pure coincidence that he was...
I don't know, it just made me angry to even fucking see him.
I understand.
And I guess it kind of, like, how was he... I don't know, I guess I felt like he was just getting away with it,
He's not. Okay? He's not.
I just don't,
Don't what?
I don't want to have to be even slightly fearful anymore. And it's like just seeing him made me so fucking mad. And I'm glad I didn't see his face, because if I saw his face, I probably would have thrown up. But I know. I know I shouldn't have yelled out the door. But I needed to.
You did what you did.
And I don't know how I'll get closure for, any of this. How am I supposed to...
Closure will come when you're ready for closure. It'll come on when you are ready to mentally resolve it. It'll be on your own. There's no timeline. Each one of us, deals with things at our own pace. There's no magic wand that can say, closure will be tomorrow. It may be 6 months, it may be a year, maybe 5 years. Who knows?
What if I never get closure for this?
Well, that's a distinct possibility.
Because, my friend Ryan, he had killed himself, years ago, 10 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And his mom still, to this day, has the same depression as she did when it first happened. She still can't even slightly move past it. And I feel like I'm going to be in the same situation for the rest of my life.
Well, maybe not. Don't know. And maybe that's where participating in some type of therapy or counseling, maybe... Do
they have, support groups for stuff like this?
Go to a therapist. I'm sure that there's support groups out there. But I think starting with a counselor or a therapist...
I think I need a psychiatrist.
Okay, well...
But I talked to my parents, and they said, well, if we can get you out of there, the first thing that you're going to do is go straight to Swanson Center or something like that. But you have to be willing to do it. And I said, I'm more than willing to do it, because I know now that I need help. I need support. I need help. I need to get my frickin' life together. because for the last 6 years, I've literally not been allowed to get help or do anything to change what's going on. And now he can't tell me what I can and can't do. He can't tell me that I can't talk to my mom. He can't tell me that, oh, well, he has to work, so I can't go to therapy. We don't got time for you to go to therapy. Quit being a whiny little bitch and maybe you wouldn't have to go. Like...
No, you don't have that anymore.
Like, even if I'm able to get out, I won't have to see him again, right?
That's your choice.
I mean, like, he won't be able to find me.
When it comes to things like that,
That's...
So we as, I'll give you an example. We as police officers interact with people all the time. People that do bad things, okay? And sometimes, we're threatened. We're going to come find you. We're going to come hurt your family. And anybody at any given time can find anything about anybody through the internet. Just unfortunately, we all have a digital footprint on some level. Now, on the grand scale, that's something that you don't need to worry about right now. Because once you get yourself established, getting the direction that you want to go, i.e. therapy, getting stronger mentally.
Like, what if I get out of here and I try and find a job? No one's going to hire me. Nobody.
Why?
Because they're going to hear about this, and because I was with him, and so many people know that I was with him. So even if I do get a job, okay, and someone works there, okay, I'm gonna, I'm gonna end up getting fired because if someone at that job recognizes me and knows that I was with him, they're gonna, you need to get rid of her. Or I'm gonna be walking to my car after work and I'm gonna get jumped,
I understand your concerns. But I can see your anxiety starting to build right now, and because you're thinking about all these what ifs.
But that's all I've been able to think about for years is what if this, what if that, what if this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like my mind is built on what if, because that's all I know at this point. And it's going to take a long time for me not to think like that, if ever. But I really, I almost really want to, I told my old therapist that I hated her. But the whole reason why that was is because she told me to leave.
You hated your therapist?
Mm-hmm. Because she was telling me, you deserve better. You can do better. And I didn't want to hear it because I felt like if he knew that she had said that to me, that it would be a problem. And he found out that she said that to me. So he basically told me that I wasn't allowed to do therapy with her anymore. And so I didn't. And she was there for me, and she was a really good therapist. She's actually a therapist that was assigned to me through DCS, and the plan was when DCS was over was that she was supposed to continue to be my therapist. But because he told me I wasn't allowed to do therapy with her anymore, I didn't. And she was the only therapist that I actually ever trusted. And now I don't know if she'll ever give me another chance.
Yeah. Don't know unless you try. Let's.
I'm sorry. I know this.
I understand you got a lot that you need to get out. I get that.
Like, I still haven't even finished writing this. I mean, I don't really have much paper to write with, but... And that's not going to give me closure either. Writing him a letter is not going to fix it.
Closure happens in time. Why don't we, let's go do the next important thing, and let's go get you in contact with your mom and dad so you can make those necessary arrangements.
Okay.
That would be the next best step right now at this point, at this juncture in time.
As far as that goes, though, like, I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say, because he had said something about, like, my parents getting stuff from the house and whatnot, but I don't know. Like, my parents had asked me, and I told them, no offense, but I love them, but I really don't care right now, because that's kind of the least of my concerns. But my parents were asking about the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Would, like, they be able to be released to my parents, or...
Well, if you've allowed your parents to be over there, I mean, they can go over there and get animals that are yours.
I mean, I haven't, like, said anything really about it yet, because they said that they had contacted somebody and they were going to try and figure that out, but...
They can make arrangements with your guys' landlord to retrieve those animals if they're yours.
The landlord's going to be extra pissed because he didn't even know that we had cats. We weren't supposed to have cats there.
Well, that's something that...
But that really doesn't fucking matter.
We can't do anything about it right now.
I mean, that's really should be the least of his worries right now. And it's really not fair to the landlord, because he grew up in the house. His dad committed suicide in the house. So now he's got more, because even though he wasn't there and he didn't have nothing to do with it and didn't know, I'm sure that's going to bring up a lot of bad things for him, for himself.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like I'm trying to think about everybody's feelings in this, and I just don't know. I don't know. At this point, I feel like I'm just talking for no reason.
True.
But of course, I haven't been able to do that, so.
Sure. Let's go get set up so you can call.
Okay.
Okay. And then when we learn something, we'll notify you as soon as possible.
It's just making me nervous and paranoid, and
I get it.
my anxiety is going freaking nuts.
I get it.
Because my family is like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Like, you guys keep asking me if I know anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, how are we supposed to help you if we don't know what's going on?
Well,
I don't know.
They'll be able to help you in time. That's...
Like, I'm trying to tell them, like, you guys asking me what's going on is making me, like stressed more. Like, when I know, I will tell you. Because I can't give you an answer right now. I don't know. Well, we can't. I understand that you can't help me. Well, we want to like get you on the right track and get your life to. I understand that, but none of that can be done until I know what's going on. And I love you guys. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate you guys trying to help me. But you guys have to have patience with me right now, because there's really only so much that I can say or do. To let you guys know what's going on. So I appreciate that you guys care. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But just please, just like let me figure it out, and then I will tell you. As my grandma, who's like 80-some years old, she's like freaking out right now. And I don't want her to like have a heart attack or something. I'm just like, I'm trying to like be as nice as possible and telling her that I really don't know.
Well, hopefully you'll know shortly.
Can I ask a serious question?
You can ask me a non-serious question. That was a joke.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not.
I get it.
My brain's not really processing funnies right now. So, if I can ever get out of here and move past this, would I be ever able to be like you guys?
What do you mean?
Like, I almost kind of want to be an officer, because I want to be able to, I don't want to go to calls like that, but I want to go, like, say a girl who is scared calls in, and she is hiding, or she's in her house and she just got her ass beat by her man. And she calls and she needs help. I want to help. I want to help, you know? I want to be able to be that officer on that call and be like, listen, you can get out because I've been you. And if you want me to help you, I will more than gladly help you. But you need to get out now. Because I'm going to tell you from experience, you need to go. And I was in your place. And if you don't leave now, it's not going to end well. So you need to save yourself. And if you have kids, you need to save your kids. And you need to leave. I will personally drive you somewhere if you need to go somewhere. You know, I want to help prevent any of this from happening to anyone else. And I know that I can't control everyone in the world, but if I can even make a difference and save someone's life, I want to do it. And I know that this is like probably something that's going to prevent me from ever doing any kind of law enforcement work. But if I can prevent this from happening to anyone else, I want to do it.
Well, there's facets, you know, just on the peripheral law enforcement, maybe with groups that go out and, you know, give talks to empower women and things like that. That you may be able to.
But I would never be able to.
Law enforcement, no.
Not in any way.
Not in the capacity that you're thinking.
So what if there's like, is there anything like if there is someone that calls because of like domestic violence or something
You're
like
thinking
that?
of like a social worker type, like some of the, like a larger metropolitan area might employ, like Seattle has some in Minnesota have some, but there's nothing like that around here.
So what if there's something that I can start? What if I can make a difference somehow? What if I can prevent any other girl or any other child from having to go through this?
I'm not saying that you can't. I'll take that from what I'm telling you. Let's go take care of Judah's decision right now.
I'm sorry, I got so much on my mind right now.
I get it.
And I want, like I was telling him earlier, I want it to be as perfect for him as possible. Because he really liked Lightning McQueen. It was like his favorite thing. And Marshall from Paw Patrol, because Marshall was his middle name, so he loved it.
Mm-hmm.
He really liked monster trucks. He wanted a Lightning McQueen monster truck for his birthday, but we couldn't find one. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Let's go get that phone call for you, okay? To your parents.
Okay.
All right. You need more paper?
If I could, they won't give me any more up there, but I feel like if I had paper, I could. Would I be allowed to bring this back with me or no? I mean, the girl in my room's probably gonna get pissed off because she got mad at me earlier because I got Tylenol.
Here's that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I should probably bring this thing too.